WNBC. Today, I'm going to share with you a Pilates move called push-up. It is a Pilates push-up. It is an exercise that you can complete as many times as you choose to throughout the day. It is an exercise that will help you to strengthen your arm muscles, your shoulder muscles, chest muscles, core muscles, leg muscles, and even put strength into your feet through your toes. When we complete this exercise, you will be aware of how to complete the full move in both the regressed form as well as the progressed form. The progressed form is going to be the full form of the exercise with no accommodations or no considerations for any changes to the exercise. The regressed form is going to take into consideration certain things, and I will show you that option. If you're ready to get started, then so am I. I'm going to start by standing on a firm, flat surface. For me today, it'll be the edge of my mat. My heels are going to touch the edge of my mat as I stand straight up. So when standing at the edge of my mat, I'm now going to place my hands at my sides, and I'm going to place my fingertips in the front of my hips, or at the front of my hips, to push my hips back so that I can identify my hinge position. Now that I'm in my hinge position, I'm going to run my hands down the front of my legs, and I'm going to enjoy the stretch in the back of my legs. This is called a hamstring stretch. After I enjoy my hamstring stretch for a few seconds, I am now going to walk my hands out in a 4 count. I'm going to start with my right hand and alternate with my left until I end up in a full plank position. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm in a full plank position. My toes are curled and tucked into the mat. My ankles are at a 90-degree angle. My hands are underneath my shoulders. My chest is parallel with the mat. My core muscles are pulled in tight, and my glutes are contracted. My feet are going to be at least hip width apart to give me some stability in my feet. Now, after I enjoy this position for a few seconds, I am now going to lower my chest to the mat for a 3 count and lift up for a 1 count. 3, 2, 1, lifting up for 1. I'm going to do that again. 3, 2, 1, lift up for 1. One more time. 3, 2, 1, lift up for 1. Now I'm going to hinge at my hips, sticking my glutes up into the air so that I can start alternate walking my hands back. Left hand, right hand, left hand, right hand. Again, I'm going to enjoy my hamstring stretch while in this position before I roll up to restart. When I'm in the standing position and I roll up to restart, I want to make sure I roll my shoulders back to put them in their reset position. Now we're going to perform this exercise again, and I'm going to incorporate the breaths. So I'm standing at the edge of my mat. My hands are in the front of my hips. I'm going to inhale, and now as I hinge and lower my chest down to run my hands down the front of my thighs, I'm going to exhale. I am enjoying this leg stretch before I start to walk my hands out for a 4 count and inhale as I do so. Inhale 1, inhale 2, inhale 3, inhale 4, and exhale now that I'm in my full plank position. Now that I'm ready to lower my chest to the mat, I'm going to inhale as I lower and exhale as I push up. Inhale, 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 exhale. Inhale, 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 exhale. Inhale, 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 exhale. Now I'm going to hinge at my hips, creating somewhat of a triangle. before I inhale and walk my hands back. Inhale, 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 and now I'm going to roll up as I exhale. Very good. Now we're going to perform this exercise again, but this time I'm going to show you a regressed option. I'm still going to hinge at my hips, but if I need to, I can also bend at my knees. So, placing my hands on the front of my hip flexors, I can either come to this hinged position, sticking my glutes back, and or go ahead and bend at my knees as well to help me get down to the ground in my 4 count. Now you're going to lose a bit of that hamstring stretch with the hinge, but that's okay. So I'm going to come down to my mat as low as I can, and then walk my hands out to a 4 count. 1, 2, 3, 4. And as soon as I get into my plank position, I'm going to drop to my knees. Now, when I'm ready to lower my chest down, I am still going to inhale for a 3 count and exhale for a 1 count while I am in the bent knee position. Notice that I have a slight angle in my hip flexors and my hips are not directly over my knees. So once you come into this bent knee position and your knees are on the mat, please be sure not to stick your glutes back and bring your knees under your hips. Instead, keep your plank position and drop to your knees quickly, but safely. Now, let's lower our chest to the mat for the 3 count. Inhale. 2, 1. Lift up for 1. 3, 2, 1. Push up for 1. Again, 3, 2, 1. Push up for 1. Now, once I'm ready to go back to my standing position, I first need to lift my knees off the mat. Feel free to lift one knee at a time. So you can lift the right knee, then the left knee, or you have the option to lift both knees at the same time while you're putting pressure and weight on your hands for stability and support. And now you can walk it back and keep a little bend in your knees for your walk back. Almost like you're crawling backwards. And then once you're in your squat position, you can roll up. So let's try that again. This time let's add our breaths back into it. This is our regressed option. We are hinging at the hip and even squatting down at the knees if need to get as low to the ground as possible. When we do so, we are going to exhale, placing our hands on the mat. Now we're going to inhale and walk out for a 4 count. And immediately drop our knees and exhale. Now we're going to inhale for a 3 count and exhale for a 1 count as we lower our chest to the mat. Here we go. One more. Now we're going to lift our knees up off the mat to inhale and walk our hands back. We're in our squat position. Now we want to exhale and roll up. Very nice. Now let's break down the exercise in the event that you'd like to capture it in small pieces as opposed to a whole bite. First, feel free to only do the hinge portion, whether it's in the progressed version or the regressed version, like so. Progressed version, hands on the front of the hips, push the hip flexors back, hinge as you run your hands down the front of your body. You can even grab underneath your toes while you're here. Inhale, exhale, inhale, And exhale as you roll up. That is just the hinge position in the progressed version. You can stay with that. You don't have to do anything further. Or you can do the regressed version. Placing your hands on the front of your hips, sticking your hips back or pushing your hip flexors back, and bending slightly at the knees. Running your hands down the front of your legs. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale and come on up. Okay? Another option is, and another piece of this exercise that you can do by yourself, is the walk out to the plank portion and the walk back from the plank portion, which looks like this in the progressed version. Standing up nice and tall, hands on the front of the hips. Inhale. Exhale, run your hands down the front of your legs. Inhale, walk out your hands for 4. Hold it for 3 seconds, 2, 1. Now walk it back on an inhale with your hands leading left first. And exhale and roll up. Now for the regressed version of that plank, looking like this. We're going to start standing, hands on the front of the hip flexors. Push the hips back, bend the knees, run your hands down the front of your legs with an exhale. Walk your hands out for 4 inhales. Exhale once you're here and drop your knees. And then inhale, lift your knees and walk your hands back. And exhale and roll up. Very nice. If you wanted to simply do the push-up portion of the exercise, I recommend that you start with your tummy flat on the mat. Hands on the outside of your chest, facing the mat. Toes are tucked. Elbows are in. You're going to inhale. Exhale, push your body up. This will be the progressed version. And when you're ready to do your 3 sets, you're going to inhale and lower down for a 3 count and push up for a 1 count. Very good. And then you can inhale, lowering your whole body down to the mat in your restart position. Exhale once your body's touching the mat. And rest and relax before deciding to do a 2nd set. For the regressed option, we're going to start in the same way, but we're going to prepare our knees to stay on the mat, like so. Inhale and exhale. I push my chest up, making sure that my hips are not directly aligned over my knees like so. We don't want that. But we want to make sure that our shoulders are over our elbows and our wrists. And we're going to lower our chest to the mat for a 3 count. Push up for 1. Again. That's 2. Now for a 3rd time. That's your 3rd time. Before you lower your body back down to the mat in the restart position. Wonderful. Now today I showed you a Pilates push-up. I reviewed with you the regressed versions, the progressed versions. I also reviewed with you the breakdown of each portion of the exercise in the event that you wanted to complete each part on its own. Do know that you don't have to rush yourself into capturing all of this exercise at one time, but feel free to do it in spurts. and I welcome you to do it as often as you possibly can. I want to thank you for joining me today. Do be well. Bye now.